Okay, chapter 2.5 is on dividing fractions. It should be pretty easy. We just have one or two things to talk about. The biggest thing for dividing fractions is to understand about a reciprocal. We talked about this a little bit last week. There's a little I in here. Reciprocal. Oh, it's not an I, it's an O. Reciprocal. Reciprocal. I guess that kind of works. Little eraser. Pew, pew, pew. That's not working. There we go. Back to that. Okay. The reciprocal is a number that when you divide it, a number divided by or multiplied by its reciprocal equals 1. So the equal 1 if you multiply a number by its reciprocal. Okay. So like 1/4 times 4/1 is equal to 4/4, which is equal to 1. So this is the reciprocal. It's a number that when you multiply it by another number, you get 1. And usually you just flip it over. For instance, 2, the reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. Just imagine that 2 is 2 over 1. And then you get 2/2, which equals to 1. Does that make sense? And you can do it with anything, really. 3/4 times 4/3 is 12/12, which is equal to 1. And that's basically the design of a reciprocal. Any number, two numbers that multiply together to get 1, the second one is the reciprocal of the first one. And if you flip them around, it works the same way. Let's get a new page out here. Dividing by fractions. Dividing fractions, you can't really do it. It doesn't work very well. If I have 1/4 divided by 3, it's hard to figure out. Let me actually use a number that we can kind of see the answer of. Something that we can see pretty easily. So like 4 divided by 1/2. Okay. Now, if you can divide it this direction, then you should be able to multiply it this direction and come up with a 4. So some number times 4 is equal, or sorry, some number times 1/2 is equal to 4. So blank times 1/2 is equal to 4. So this is the reverse. Okay, 4 divided by 1/2 equals some number. That means that some number times 1/2 equals 4. And I could figure out by kind of just using my head that 8 times 1/2 is equal to 4. I can go ahead and show you how that works. 8 ones times 1/2 is equal to 8/2. 8 times 1, 1 times 2. And 8/2 is the same as 4 ones, which is 4. Okay, so 8 times 1/2 equals 4. Now, how do I figure out how to get 8 from 4 divided by 1/2? I know the answer is 8. I just worked it out here. It's a little hard to see, but we find that if we multiply by the reciprocal, so instead of dividing, I go ahead and I multiply, which is the opposite function of divide. 4, and I multiply by the reciprocal, and the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2 ones. And I get 8 ones, which is 8. Alright, so 8 works. Multiplying by the reciprocal works. I know the answer to this one is 8. So once we know that's true, we can just buzz through them. Let's say 2/7 divided by 1/3. We're going to rewrite this as 2/7 times 3 ones, which is going to be 6/7. 2 times 3 is 6. 7 times 1 is 7. Okay? And if I were to go backwards, 6/7 times 1/3 would equal 2/7. Let's do it. We ought to be able to do it forwards and backwards. So 6/7, which was the answer, times 1/3, which is what we were dividing, should equal 2/7. And let's just see. 6 times 1 is 6. 7 times 3 is 21. I can divide both 6 and 21 by 3. 6/21 is the same as 2/7, and 2/7 matches. That's what I was looking for. And I can see that it works. Okay, let's do another one. Change colors again. 3 divided by 3/4. It's 3 divided by 3/4, but I like to write things as a fraction. 3/4. There we go. So this is the same thing as 3 ones times 4/3. Can simplify before I multiply. 3/3 is 1 1. So I get 4 ones. 3 divided by 3/4 equals 4. 4 times 3/4 equals 3. Okay. I could see that real quickly if I multiply 3/4 times 4 ones. These are going to simplify, and it's going to leave me with 3. 3 times 1 is 3, and 1 times 1 is 1, which is 3. Pretty cool how that works. Multiply by the reciprocal whenever you have to divide fractions. Even if you have mixed numbers like 3 1/2 divided by 2/5. No, 3 1/2 divided by 1 1/3 is the same thing as, see, this one is 7/2 times, now this is kind of a little two-part thing here, 3 times 1 plus 4/3, but I have to write that as 3/4. Remember, I still have to multiply by the reciprocal, so 4/3 is 3/4. And that equals 21/8, which is the same as 2, which is 16, and 5/8. Alright, cool. One more. We'll make this a really short video. I know you're waiting to watch it. I got kind of a late start on this one. So 4/5 divide, back up here. Okay, this is like combining order of operations with all of this. So we're going to add 4/5 plus 2/5 divided by 4. Now remember that you have to do division first. Now it doesn't come, this problem doesn't actually come with the parentheses. You can add them like that, or you can just remember that they're there. You have to multiply and divide, which is this, before you add and subtract. So this comes first, and this comes second. First, second, divide first. So we're going to just leave the 4/5 alone, and we're going to multiply by the reciprocal times 1 over 4. That's the reciprocal of 4. Alright, and that gives us 4/5 plus 2/20. 2 times 1, 5 times 4. 2/20 is the same as 1/10. Alright, so 4/5 plus 1/10. I have to change my 4/5 into tenths. So I'm going to do that. 4/5 times 2 times 2 becomes 8/10 plus 1/10. Right here is the 1/10. 8/10 plus 1/10 equals 9/10. Alright, so this is the hard kind. When you have to do order of operations, you have to remember to divide first, which means you have to multiply by the reciprocal. Then you add second. You have to find common denominators and add. So this is the tough one. This one is a little more difficult. We'll call it challenging, not difficult. You guys can do it, and I'll see you tomorrow.